What's up everybody, Patrick from WP Builder Helper, and in today's video we're going to go over the details of what the new Divi theme builder brings to the market. We're also going to use 3 other page builders to take and see how their header builders work compared to Divi's. So stay tuned, you won't want to miss this episode. Alright, what's up everybody? This is Patrick again. So, Divi has launched their official theme builder. I know, we've been waiting for it a long time. Divi's been working on this for years and years and years, I'm sure. It's at least 2 years we know, because the announcement was made sometime last year when they were working on this. So it's finally launched today, and we're going to take a look at it. We're going to see what Divi Theme Builder has for it, and you know how it compares to some of the other builders that are out there right now, and what they offer that maybe Divi doesn't offer, and what they can do that maybe Divi doesn't do, and just some gripes from the community as a whole. And this is not to bag on Divi, that's not the point, but there are some things that I think this does that is very disheartening to a lot of people who are using page builders at the current moment. So I wanted to jump into a page, and I want to build a very simple header. As a matter of fact, we're going to build something similar to this. We're going to have an image, some text up at the top, and then we're going to have a pricing feature. So hold on one second and we'll jump right into that. Alright everybody, so here we are again in the Divi builder, and we're going to take a look at the theme builder slash header builder slash footer builder. We're only going over the header today, so if you're wanting to learn how to do the whole entire thing, this is probably the wrong tutorial for you. Maybe later on I can do it. If you write a comment down below and you say that you want to see the whole tutorial, I'll go through it all. I haven't had a lot of love from Divi. I don't think a lot of people like it, at least from what I've seen. They like some of the other builders and things like that. But we're still going to go over it because, remember, this is a comparison video. So I want to compare Divi to all the other builders that are out there and see which one is the best. Not necessarily for me, maybe for you, maybe what project you're working on or something like that. So we're going to go over it. So Divi added this new option in their recent update with the theme builder. You'll click New Template from here. And this is basically a conditions. You've probably seen this in Elementor. I know you've seen it in Oxygen. You've seen it in all kinds of builders. And in here, we're going to want to set up all pages. And that's just basically telling it this is going to be on all pages. I'm not sure how this one works. I've still yet to figure this out because it says default website template. So I've got to assume that it's set up for all pages, but it doesn't give you the ability to adjust the conditions from what I know. So I'm a little bit confused as to why this one has conditions like template settings and this one doesn't. So I don't know, maybe Divi can let us know. I don't know, maybe I missed that. If you know the answers to that, go ahead and write it in the comments. But we're going to build a custom header. And this is going to be a really simple header. So please do not get aggravated when this doesn't look amazing. This is just going to be a very basic header. I'd like to do something like this kind of layout. I'd like to do it on all 3, where you've got a logo, a menu in the middle, and then a button. And that's really it. That's all I want to do. I just want to show you the power of this. So for the logo, since I did not set this site up, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't set it up to have an actual logo on the back end. That's my fault. So I'm just choosing one that I picked out of my library. It's just one from a project I was working on. And we're going to go through and we're going to set this up so you can see how fast this works. And I'll even adjust it a little bit just to make it look a little bit better. Not anything great. But we're going to go through and we're going to play with this. So I like Open Sans, And let's go bigger. Let's go about 18 point. Oh, that's terrible. It's terrible. So let's go, let's see, where did I, oh, design, menu text. The one thing I have to say, I haven't played with Divi in a while. I'm one of those people that's a little bit, I've been aggravated with Divi, I guess you could say, because there was a lot of thoughts coming out that their whole entire builder was coming. It's been coming for a long time, and it's finally here, thankfully, but at the same time, it's taken over a year. Anybody who knows what took place with it knows that it's literally taken them a year to get this straight. And so there's a lot of people who have essentially been waiting for this to happen, and it's never happened. Like, it's just taken a long time, and that's rubbed some people the wrong way. But Divi has added a lot of things in here. As you can see, I'm just kind of going through and looking at the options here. So here's the styles. Let's say yes. Okay, so Divi does have this, so we can add a gradient to our button color and everything like that. So that's pretty nice. I didn't realize. Let's change this to 18 just to stay in line. Let's see. Divi's got an interface it's very cluttered from what I see. That's the number one thing that I see with Divi, but it's got a lot of options in it that you really don't find in a lot of other builders, and that's something that I really do like about Divi. I think that that's amazing because they've got, you know, search functions and everything like that. So Elegant Themes as a whole has done a fantastic job of making their interface a lot more user-friendly than it used to be. It's definitely a more user-friendly interface. I think the biggest problem with Divi for most people is the fact that it's a little bit more bloated than some other builders, and that drives a lot of people away from it. But so here we go. Here's our interface. Here's what we did. Here's our the top portion. Now, the thing that bothers me, and I don't know how to set this. I think it's set over here. So you're watching me struggle with this, and I am not saying that I'm a Divi pro with any of this, but there should be a way to get all the sections to kind of like level in the middle, and I don't see that. I thought that there was a way to do that, and there might be. I may just be missing it. I may be an idiot. I'm not real sure. I haven't used Divi in quite some time, but there used to be a way that you could bring these sections up, because right now they're all off. So not sure. Maybe it's in here. Column structure. This is probably it. Equalize columns. Did that do anything? Nope. It doesn't look like it did anything. Okay. Well, that's really annoying that you can't. So I'm not even quite sure how you're supposed to get this, other than, I guess, just moving this and giving a negative margin. I'm not sure how you're supposed to get the menu up. That's a little bit aggravating. Well, this is good. I wanted to show you guys the difference between the menus and all of that and how everything works. So this is great. I mean, you get to see actual stuff happening as we're going through it. And I enjoy that part of the building process. I actually like learning stuff like this just because it'll help you as a whole learn what you should do. See, one of the things that I gotta say, Oxygen's got it right. They've got some better. Well, when we go over Oxygen, I'll show you. But they've got some things that you can do that I think is much better for lining up this kind of things. They have things like Flexbox and things like that with CSS that you can use to line this up. And like I said, maybe I'm an idiot, so maybe I'm not giving Divi the full love it deserves. So that could be possible. So I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to put that out there and say that I'm not an idiot. I do like the fact that they finally got gradient buttons. I think that that's a plus. There's not too many people that have gradient buttons out there, and I think that that's awesome that they've got that. But this is annoying me, the fact that this middle thing is. But regardless, this was the first test. I'm sorry it wasn't more in depth. It was an idea to show you how quick it is that you could build a header and a footer. Let's save this and test it on the front end and make sure before I start rambling. I don't feel like making this a longer video than what it needs to be. So it's been saved. You make sure you save this change also, because if you don't save this change, then it's not going to save on the front end. And from here, let's look at our front end and see if it has adjusted. And yes, it has in fact adjusted. It's got the new header, the new text, and everything. Now, for those of you who are familiar, you'll notice that there were some things missing from this. Divi, a lot of the complaints in the community have said that Divi hasn't added some more important elements that should be included in it, such as sticky headers, things like that. You have to do that with CSS in this, which is a bit annoying. You would think that that would have already been included, but it was not included when this came out. I'm sure it'll be included in the future as we go through it. So now it's time to go on to site number 2, where we're going to do Brizy. All right, be back in a second. All right, so we're back again, and we've deactivated Divi at this point, and we've turned on Brizy. Now, one thing that I wanted to note with this is that Brizy's header and footer page builders are not yet integrated in the way that Divi's is. You saw that I could add it to it. Well, they haven't really made them work yet. Unfortunately, you're going to have to use something like Ocean's WP, or something that has a header and a footer. There's ways that you can do it, but it essentially involves taking a template and applying a template to a page and then allowing that template to be what it is. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to act like it's a regular header and footer, and that's what we're just going to consider. I'm sorry. A header is what I meant to say. So we're going to say this to all pages, and we're going to include all posts too, just as if we were doing anything else. Publish it, because sometimes if you don't publish something, it won't show up on the front end, so I tend to like to publish first and then go back and edit it. That's something that I learned with Oxygen. Oxygen always makes you publish your pages first. But we're going to go in Brizy, and we're going to make a header, footer. We're going to make a header, and we're going to include some information. We're going to go with the blank block. We're not going to use their header and footers. This is one of the things I really like about Brizy, is that they already have some predefined headers, which is nice, and predefined footers. Not very many. I'd like to see some prettier ones, especially with their brand new block kit, but it's enough to get started. Brizy. Divi doesn't even have any of that, and so to me that's a lost point for them, because I know it's brand new, but if you're launching this feature, shouldn't you have headers and footers to show off? So they don't even have that. But regardless, I'm still going to use just a blank block. So my idea here is I want 3 columns, so I'm going to have to add a column, which should be right there. Yep, beautiful. And I also want to take and remove some of this padding, because this is supposed to be a header. This doesn't need to be as thick as that. And we're going to go in here, and we're going to go in their interface. Once again, I did not set a logo for this, so it's working exactly how the other one worked. I do know Brizy a little bit better since I've been able to play with it before, but I know a little bit better than probably Divi, so I'm going to apologize for that, because it just happens to be the way I know it. But it is what it is. I mean, there's certain things that you just have to deal with as you go through this. So please don't take that as me being biased to one thing over the other, because that's just not true. I really like a majority of these builders that I'm talking about. I just don't. You can't use them for every project. Not every project needs a Divi builder, and not every project needs Oxygen, and not every project needs Elementor. You need to choose what's right for you. So all this is just me adjusting the height of the logo, because unfortunately it's got this annoying thing where if you actually put that in here and it doesn't come out right, then the logo won't self-adjust like that. But I do want to point out something cool, because while I was doing this, I'll show you something afterwards. So we're going to continue on. And this is just me, once again, building a header. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to build headers. So you're going to see me build a header with this. So we're going to go with a menu. Okay, look at that, was amazing. And then we're going to go with a button, because we want a button. Brizy has a button. And I don't want the button to be ugly, because I'm all about buttons being ugly. I hate that. Look at that. You can add a gradient. Not that a gradient makes a button pretty, but let's just add a gradient anyway. Who cares? That's an ugly button, but whatever. So one of the things I was talking about with Divi that I don't know, I don't remember, or is how to line up everything to get it evenly across. And I remembered that Brizy has this thing that allows you to align. That is not it, though. Where is it that it has it? Because I could have sworn that it also had an alignment tool. Maybe it was in these settings. So once again, working through this, because I should know all this, right? No, not really. I hate to say it, but all of these page builders, I use them, and then what ends up happening is, as I'm going through it, I'll sometimes forget where settings are that allow you to align things. And there's a bunch of padding in things, but there's not anything that allows you to align, which I think is weird. Maybe it's in here? Align. I think that's just more of the alignment of this. Yep, padding, margin. So I'm going through this with you just to see if I can align this, because this is an annoyance to me. I don't like it at all. And somebody in the comments going to go, "You're an idiot. You need to include this." Oh, there it is. See, I knew they had it. So, not sure if this is in Divi or not, but that function right there, that one function, pretty damn useful for making sure that your stuff is aligned like that. Even though it is ugly as sin, it's useful just to show off that it's aligned. So let's add in another. Well, let's just save and update it and see. I don't know if this is going to work on the front end. Once again, I apologize if this doesn't work on the front end. I'm not sure that it's going to technically work. There's probably something that I did wrong, but I want to see it anyway, just to see if it works, because I don't think it is. I might actually have to go in. Yeah, that's what I figured. I think you actually have to go into your pages, and I think you have to set up the template. So take something like home, click edit. This is one of the drawbacks of picking something that's in a, let's say, a development phase, is that you have to go in and you actually have to set up most of this. See, Brizy template, and I think that may be what I need. Let's check it out and see. Yep, so that's what it was. So the Brizy template allows you to have the thing. Sorry about that for not knowing that, Brizy. I apologize. But that's how you set up your template. It's a little bit annoying. It's not as intuitive as I would like. I much prefer Divi's method for taking and setting up pages, but I also know that Brizy has that coming. So that is page builder number 2. Once again, we're just comparing these page builders to see how quick it is to build a header. So now we'll move on to page builder number 3, and I will be right back. Alright guys, here we are again, and we're on page builder number 3, and that happens to be Oxygen. So Oxygen uses a template system similar to what Brizy has. It's all in the template section. The difference between Oxygen and Brizy and Elementor is that Oxygen, you actually build the whole entire page, which I kind of like in some ways. It speeds up the process. It's still not as intuitive as I would say like Elementor's is, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's definitely, once you start using it, it's one of my favorite template systems. So you'll see on here, like I said, you got to publish the page first before you ever go and do anything. And I set this as main. The reason why I set this as main is there's a big difference between the way Brizy handles it, the way Divi handles it, the way everybody handles it. Some people decide that when you're building something, you have to build it as pieces. So you'll build the header, you'll build the body, and then you'll build the footer. Oxygen does it a little differently. Instead of building the header, the footer, and the body, you build the header, footer, and body, and then the inside section all as one piece. And so when you go in to edit it, you would just go into this main and edit it, and you're editing everything. You're editing the header, the footer, and that's why that can speed up some things, because usually when you're making changes to, say, a header, you will also make changes to a footer. That's not very uncommon. So here we're going to dive into the Oxygen builder, and we are going to start building a header just like we did for Brizy. There is one small difference that Oxygen has compared to any other builder on the market, and that is the fact that Oxygen has this useful helper called the header builder. And this thing it's one of my favorite features of Oxygen, if I'm being honest. They built this specifically for headers. So you can see it's got 3 columns already. These columns will actually collapse on themselves just like regular divs when they don't have anything in them. But the beauty of this is that the header builder's got functions like show sticky, show overlay. You can go in some of the other options and you can set it for just random things. If you want an overlay header, if you want scrolls, I mean, there's just so much that you can add to this header builder. I really like the way they did this. Stack vertically below, the sticky, the overlay, the background color, all of that can be done. So let's dive in, let's build the same header we've been building, because the purpose of this is so that you can see just how all these things work. And Oxygen works a little bit differently than the other ones. You don't drag things. That's just not the way it works. You actually have to go in Oxygen and you drag it once it's on the page, but you don't drag it to the builder like so many other builders do. And then once it's there, you can kind of move it as you want. Like if I wanted to move this more to a side or whatever, you can move it to a side or a left or whatever. See? So I just moved it. And Oxygen also has a really useful thing, which is the structure. It's the DOM tree. So you can see that I'm in the center row right now. If I want to move it to the left, like underneath the left, you can do that just by moving it, although I seem to be having issues with that, but you can definitely do it. So I just took the image out. But there we go. So now the image is underneath this. That's just me being, me. But like I said, you can take and you can kind of choose where things go. So let's add our menus. We're going to add our menu in, and Oxygen has a search function just like many of the other builders, so it's no different. So we're going to add this. We're going to add in some spacing to it. And once again, I'm sorry if anybody here gets aggravated by the fact that I seem a little bit more capable with Oxygen. I've used it before in the past and on projects, and so because of that, I'm a little bit more fluid with it when it comes to certain things like that. It's not me trying to put Divi in a bad light. I'm just more fluid with it. So this is your basic menu section right here. It's got the logo, it's got your navigation, and then you've got your button. And obviously, you can go in and you can customize this. If you want to make it a sticky, you can make it a sticky. You can do all that. So let's save it like we were doing with the other ones. And let's go to preview on the front end. Let's see if this will work. I'll open it in a new tab. And it did not work. Let's see. Let's save it again. Oh, I know why. Silly me. So part of the problem is I'm going to have to assign it to the page, and I don't think I gave it any conditions either, just looking back at it. There's main. Let's update this. Alrighty, now let's go back to this page, refresh it, and boom, there is your header. So you saw how fast that was. Oxygen's header builder is actually super useful in making sure that all of this stuff stays together and you get those conditions that you may not get from Brizy, such as sticky, overlays, things like that. You can also create different headers for different pages with Oxygen, which is really cool. I know you can do that with Elementor. I'm pretty sure Brizy's going to have it too. Don't know how that's going to work in Divi. I know that you can do it because you can set up different sections. But for right now, Oxygen kind of like, for me, I really like the way that they do it. I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to move on to our fourth and final builder, which is Elementor, which should be the quickest. But we'll see. They're all about the same, roughly. The only one that I really struggle with is Divi. We're going to go over that, and I will meet you back here. All right? Thanks. All right, guys. Here we are again, and this time we are using Elementor. This is our fourth and final builder, and we're going to be building a header just like we did with the other ones. I want to show the difference between all of these just so people can get an idea. So Elementor does use a template builder, templates, just like the rest of them, and it does have a theme builder. And so you're going to go into your theme builder, and you're going to see here there's a header tab that's already built into this. So you're going to want to go to the header tab. You could do it from the theme builder tab. It doesn't really matter, but it's got this nifty little thing that says add new header, and you can name it new header and hit create template. Now, one big note from the Oxygen way of doing things and the Brizy way of doing things is that they kind of superimpose the header over an already existing page. Oxygen wipes out your theme, it wipes out your page. You really have to build everything from scratch. So one thing I like about the Elementor style and probably the Brizy style also is that you can just kind of come in here and you can just kind of build a header. They also have some very good headers. To me, a lot of these look much, much better than some of the ones that we've seen before. Oxygen's got some pretty good headers too. I think that their design features in Oxygen look pretty good. They've got some headers that really, really stand out. So I think Oxygen and Elementor win right now with headers, where Divi doesn't even have them, and Brizy at least has some, so they're just not as pretty as some of these. So I think that they'll all end up catching up, but that's just one thing, one big difference between them. If you're looking for quick custom headers, Oxygen and Elementor are the two big ones to go for. Brizy's still playing catch up a little bit, but I think it's going to come along very soon. If they start making headers just like their Kit Pack 2, I think that we're going to see very, very pretty headers coming out very soon. But we're going to click off of this and we're going to just make our own header. So in here I want the 3-column, kind of similar to how I did before. This is the easiest one to pick. Unlike Oxygen and the rest of them, you do drag onto the page with Brizy, which is different whenever you're using their widgets. Just like Oxygen, the header builder, which isn't really a header builder, has the option of being sticky. Basically, you can make anything sticky in Brizy. You can do the same thing in Oxygen also, but it's just the way it's set up. It doesn't call it a header builder, but you can still use it. So we're going to use the site logo, and it's not going to pull up the site logo, sadly, because I didn't set the site logo. So I'll have to actually give it a URL, or let's see if I can link to a media file. So apparently that kind of sucks because I didn't set it. All right, let's do it this way. So apparently because I didn't set this, normally this would just pull this up, which is not a big deal. We would just say, okay, it is what it is. But because I didn't set this, we're just going to use an image. If I would have set it, it would have automatically pulled it, which is a bit of a bummer because this isn't the proper way to do it. The proper way to do it is the way that they have it set up, unfortunately. Okay, so we're just building our menu, building our header, just like we would before. Navigational menu. So we pick our menu, main menu, navigation. Oh, I picked the wrong menu. Once again, sorry about that. My fault for not knowing this. I should know this. It was supposed to be the nav menu. My bad. So we're going to do that. Let's add in a button. Okay, so we're going to throw a button in this. And there you go. I mean, there's your header right there. And if you click publish, we'll add a condition, the entire site. So they add conditions on the back end once you publish. So once this is published, you'll see that this is added, and it'll say, hey, have a look. It'll bring up a page. I like the way it does that too. That's one of my favorite things about Elementor. It'll automatically prompt you to go see the page. And you can just see right here, boom, there's your header, and it's going to be on every single page. This is kind of the body content that was already there, but you can see that you've got your header, and it's perfect, and that's the way it works. So that was very simple, and those are 4 different builders that have different methods of doing that. So let's talk about what all of this means, and we'll go from there. All right? So hey guys, here's my final impressions of all of these different builders. So you've seen 4 different builders this morning. You've seen Elementor, you've seen Oxygen, you've seen Brizy, and you've seen Divi. You've seen some of the lack of professionalism in some of these builders and some things that are missing in other ones. It's not anything critical. I think all of these builders have the ability to be very useful in certain situations. I think certain people will pick one builder over the other instead of going with all 4 like I have, but I was trying to learn them all at the same time. That's one of the things that I wanted to do. I obviously did a horrible job at Divi, but the point of that was to just show you what all of these builders do and how they do them. Most of the traits of a builder, you'll find, a theme builder, are pretty standard among all of them. So there's little minor changes here and there. Some of them have more templates than others. Some of them are a little bit easier to use than others. Just depends on how you want to use it. All of them have different traits. And so you have to decide what's right for you, because they all 4 have different pricing options, and that will make the difference in the end of the day. Many people base things on price, and Divi has lifetime pricing. Some of the other ones like Oxygen and Brizy also have lifetime pricing right now, although that may or may not be there in the future. Elementor doesn't have lifetime pricing. So it's very hard for someone to take and rate one of these above the others. If I had my mix and I had the perfect world and I said, what kind of theme builder do I want? I would pick the UI of Brizy, the power of Oxygen, with the stable updates of Elementor. And that sounds really messed up because you're saying, hey, wait, you're not choosing one over the other. But it's the way I feel. Brizy has the prettiest UI. Oxygen has the most powerful builder known to man. And Elementor has one of the more stable updates that I've ever seen. The one thing missing from that you'll notice is Divi. Divi doesn't fall anywhere in there. I don't think it's got the most intuitive UI. I think it's cluttered and I think it's hard to navigate. It's definitely not the most powerful builder on the market. And it doesn't come out with stable updates. As a matter of fact, when Brizy released 4, they immediately had to put out 2 or 3 patches after it to fix just different things that were broken. I don't consider that a good cycle of building things. But once again, I'm not here to put down Divi, so that's not what this is. We were comparing the header builders just so you could see what they look like. If you want to see other comparisons down below between these 4, just everything in general from pop-ups to whatever, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll do a video on that. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you like this channel, like and subscribe. We're going to do more stuff down below between page builders and themes and speed test and all of that. And we're going to jump into it and really break it down for you. All right? See you guys later.